we have the clicker back. We'd like to do it once more.
Want to do it one more time?
Yes.
Is there wait, is there if you
Okay.
wait, can we try this one?
Okay.
Because I just want to hear what it sounds.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you want to start off first? Or
I'll start off first.
All right.
Okay. Do we start?
Yeah, we're done. All right.
Oh, okay. So do you want to do this one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do this. Just step back. Sit down.
Mhm.
Relax. You guys got this. You guys got it.
Honestly, if you don't remember, I just BS it. Just start making stuff like
Andy, ready? Rebecca? Rebecca, you ready? Oh, Brianna. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call the City of Clovis City Council meeting to order for May 12th, 2025 at 6:01 p.m. I'm going to change it up just a little bit, and I apologize for Councilmember Basco. Since our Youth Commission is here, and you don't come to our meetings much, can you please come forward and lead us, all of you, and lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance? Yeah. All of you come here. If we can all rise. The flag is there, so. One of you just, go ahead, you're in charge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you so much, commissioners. And those are your future leaders, so they'll get practice now. Can we get roll call? Brianna?
Councilmember Ashbeck. Here. Councilmember Basco. Councilmember Bessinger.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pierce.
Here.
And Mayor Moana-Tua.
Here. Okay. Next is our presentation and proclamations. We're going to read both of them together. And so I've asked Councilmember Basco to do both of them. So.
Okay. All right. Honoring the life-saving actions of Jeremy Brandel. Whereas on March 14th, 2025, Mr. Jeremy Brandel found his neighbor and friend, Mr. Clay Grossma, unresponsive, pulseless, and in cardiac arrest in his home. And whereas Mr. Brandel assisted with critical care by providing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation until Clovis Fire Engine 43 and American Ambulance arrived. And whereas, due to the emergency care assistance of Mr. Brandel, off-duty Fire Captain Brian Terosian, Clovis Fire Engine Company 43, and American Ambulance, the patient regained a pulse. And whereas, due to the heroic efforts of Mr. Brandel and others, the patient made an amazing recovery and can continue to be a farmer, nonprofit organization founder, husband, and father. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clovis City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Clovis, does hereby honor and commend the heroic actions taken by Jeremy Brandel. Okay, there's more.
A partner.
Honoring the off-duty life-saving actions of Captain Brian Terosian. Whereas on March 14th, 2025, Clovis Fire Captain Brian Terosian urgently responded to the home of his neighbor while off-duty. And whereas Captain Terosian found his neighbor, Mr. Clay Grossma, unresponsive, pulseless, and in cardiac arrest in his home. And whereas demonstrating exceptional professionalism and composure, Captain Terosian immediately initiated CPR and was assisted by others to provide care. And whereas the care rendered resulted in the patient regaining a pulse and recovering further at St. Agnes Medical Center. And whereas due to the selfless and swift actions of Captain Terosian and others, the patient made an amazing recovery and can continue to be a farmer, nonprofit organization founder, husband, and father. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clovis City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Clovis, does hereby honor and commend the heroic actions taken by Captain Brian Terosian.
Chief, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, for this recognition. Although we do have several of these saves a year that we do present awards to our crew, this one is special and unique because of the efforts of one of our citizens and that we had an off-duty captain that stepped up in the time of need, and more importantly, that Mr. Grofsma is here as well 2 months later, walking through the door. So this is pretty amazing. Along with that, the proclamations that you have presented tonight to the fire department, we would also like to recognize the efforts of the crew that was dispatched to the call. They're here tonight. They're actually on duty, and we'd like to present them with their life-saving award as well. And it's Captain Gonzalez, Engineer Baker, and Firefighter Wyerder. These members are recognized with the life-saving award and ribbon which they wear on their professional uniforms. Also in attendance tonight is the paramedic that was on duty that night on the crew, paramedic Corey Dorad. He's with us tonight. Thanks to the rapid response and actions of Captain Tarosian, Mr. Jeremy Brandel, the Clovis Fire Engine 43 crew, American Ambulance, and the medical staff at St. Agnes Medical Center, Mr. Clay Grosema survived this life-threatening event. His presence with us tonight is a testament to their extraordinary teamwork, skill, and commitment to saving lives. This incident reminds us that heroism is not just found in grand gestures, but in the selfless, decisive actions taken in critical moments. It is found in the neighbor who steps forward without hesitation, the off-duty firefighter who carries his training into his everyday life, the crew who arrives ready to serve, and the healthcare providers who continue that care into recovery. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you.
It's pretty overwhelming to see the support this community has given me. But on behalf of my friend, or myself and my friend that makes these signs, I just want to give this to the fire department that was there that night, Brian and other Ryan. So anyways, thank you guys so much.
And Chief, can you introduce who that was? Maybe we probably don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, he's the one that survived.
Yes, that must be Clay.
Sorry, I thought it was pretty. Yes, this is Clay Grosema. So, sorry about that. And we also have plaques from the fire department for Mr. Brandel for your efforts. And a plaque for Captain Brian Tarosian. Thank you.
And Captain Tarosian and Mr. Brandel, if you have anything to say, please. Love to hear from you both as well. Yeah.
Just a sec. I know y'all are probably real busy tonight, but I wanted to thank the council for their time, for their support of our local programs. Wanted to add that Clovis PD was Johnny on the spot as fast as could be there. Without their help, you know, who knows? Clay's girlfriend, Daniela, was the first one to act very, very quickly, without hesitation. His own kids ran over to get us across the street without hesitation. My wife, Susie, right there with us all, doing the same thing. And then Fresno PD, and then Clovis Fire Department there, and the Lucas machine that they had with them. That is on every truck. So all of those things combined, also he coded twice over the night at St. Agnes, so the staff there as well. So yes, thank you.
No, just want to thank the council on the support. I would maybe reflect back, probably Matt and Drew know, my very first CPR class was as a Clovis Police Explorer. I invited Joe Montez to come in, but unfortunately he had a family emergency. And then these two individuals behind me, Kathy and Larry Riggs, when I worked for CAL FIRE. This is a gentleman who taught me how to work the defib machine, and it was the defib machine that really saved his life. And then Kathy here probably trained about 100 of our firefighters on that machine, and that machine made a huge difference. So the council bought those machines in the late 90s, had to make a purchase, and we need to continue to look at other, purchases to keep giving great services to the city. So other than that, thank you for your time, and thanks for the recognition.
We're going to ask you guys to both come up, but before, are there any comments or words from the rest of the council? Anyone?
Got me exercise.
Go ahead, Lynn.
I can't do this without crying. This is absolutely why Clovis is special. So anyway, to all of you that serve, you think you'll never, you don't get up in the morning thinking you're going to happen, and your neighbors, and it's really the very best. And I'm so happy that you are well. So I don't know, this is the best. This is the best part of our community. So thank you for sharing it with all of us tonight.
And if Captain Terosian and Mr. Brando can come up and pick up your proclamation, and then Mr. Clay Grosema or Grosema, you can come up as well. We have a coin for the three of you, and the proclamation's up here.
So awesome. Well, try not to destroy things while you're here.
Yes, and if your family wanted to come up, and the crew and the paramedics, yeah, it's a celebration of everybody here. Yeah.
I want to not be in this picture.
I know, they're tall. Okay.
We cry every time. Oh, look, and I got bags of something out here, presents.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for what you do. Yes, you can leave.
Wow, nothing like clearing out an audience here.
Oh, okay.
Who's that?
Brian's son. Yeah. Clovis East. Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't know.
Josh Caruso. Josh just got married Friday. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for saying hi. What a wonderful story. Thank you.
We're a small community, so it's wonderful. Okay, next we're going to go into public comments. Okay, this is a moment for anybody, member of the public, to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda. If you can state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Jenny Kren. I live at 3282 Bullard Avenue. I'm responding to something that was said at the very end of the last meeting in the mayor's comments having to do with our local cemeteries' recognition of Hmong veterans. And some comments were made that were misleading regarding legislation and such that had happened here in this case. The Hmong Service Recognition Act of 2018 was originally introduced in 2017 by nearby Congressman Jim Costa. He really fought for that and got it through the House. Lisa Murkowski also passed it got it through the Senate. It was attached to the Consolidated Appropriations Bill of 2018 when it was passed, and therefore the sitting president at the time signed it. It was bipartisan appropriations bill, and that was Donald Trump, but he had very little actual involvement in the act. It was Jim Costa who really worked for it. However, I did say it was 2018, and you know, here we are in 2025, and not much has happened regarding that bill. The bill authorized the Veterans Administration to make regulations about you know, burial benefits and such for veterans in the national cemeteries, and they ran into some huge roadblocks. And although Congressman Costa has tried to nudge the VA into, come on guys, figure this out, solve it, I'm not going to go into all the roadblocks that it hit. Anyway, it's been sort of sitting there. A few states have passed statewide bills to allow recognition in the state military cemeteries. The action that the mayor was referring to, however, was, I believe, probably just the effort of our local cemetery board, and they deserve the credit and the thanks for recognizing the Hmong veterans who served in Vietnam alongside our troops, and they deserve recognition for that. And I hope the VA can get its act together, get those rules figured out. The fact that it's been more than 6 years, I don't know, but you know, Mr. Costa did get it signed into law, get it passed and to the president so it could be signed into law. So just a little correction, department. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. You're so valuable. Thank you for giving all that information. I appreciate you a lot.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Trevino. I live on Bullard. Just recently, I was at what's the name of that park we have the dogs at?
Letterman?
Letterman, I'm sorry. My mind is going. Anyways, I was there a few weeks ago, and I noticed that the tower there is blank. And for the longest time in my life, I've noticed there's 3 big water towers. There's one here downtown Clovis, the one at Letterman, and the one at Fresno State. And if you're in a certain area in Clovis, you can see all 3 towers. They're big. And the one here in Letterman Park, there's nothing on the tower. It would be really nice if we had some kind of billboard, something, you know, it has no personality. You know, it'd be nice if we had something, you know, even if it said Letterman Park. And by the way, I was talking to someone, I asked them, they told me that the park was named after someone who used to work for the city of Clovis. I didn't know what was named after. But anyways, back to the tower, it would be nice if you had something on it, you know? I was even thinking you could put a Christmas tree on top for Christmas. You know, that's just a thought, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Go ahead, yes.
That's a great thought, and I will add that the day of the opening, somebody asked me who it was named after, and I think I did a Google search, but I can't remember what it said, because my mind is going too. But it reminds me that it's a great opportunity that things that are named after people, we should have signs, so our citizens know why Letterman Park is called Letterman Park, and David McDonald Park is called David McDonald Park. So maybe we can add that to our list of things to do in 2025, 26, because I think telling the story, that's one way to do it. So I'll see if I can find what I Googled, but it's a good call out. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Rosie Watkins. I was here last meeting about my slimy gutter, and it is still slimy.
You have a neighbor that came down and, what?
I know, and
Drew.
he came at 8:30, just as he said, and he said that he didn't think there was anything that the city could do for Dave's mess, whatever it is. And then at 9:05, Glenn came from the city. They were talking about drilling a thing. I don't understand why this person can't be. I've already discussed this with you guys, and I'm sure you don't remember. Seems nobody remembers, but there's one person that has a sprinkler here, and then here is where all the water flows out. You can see from the sidewalk how bad it is and where it comes. And I don't understand why somebody can't do something to have that pipe fixed to where the water does not come out all the time. Every time, just like tomorrow morning, it'll be flooded again and it'll stay slimy. Especially in the summer, whenever it gets bubbly on top. I've contacted the mosquito abatement people. I can't get anything done. I don't know why, instead of doing all the drilling on the road, why can't someone go and knock on David's door and say, can you show me, can you turn your water system on and let me see the water come? And you guys can see where the problem is, rather than go through all the finances and everything else to do the other. It seems like nobody's doing anything, and I keep on and on. Everybody's nice, but I don't want them to be nice. I just want them to do it. I've even thought I will go up and talk to Dave. You know, if nobody else can, I will. Also, if he doesn't do anything or whatever, am I allowed to put sandbags and let the water go to Drew instead of my house? He doesn't get any of it.
Sure,
I'm
do that.
really
Do that.
agitated. I don't want to be ugly about it, but I want, you know, you guys all talk and everything, and Scott's been great, and which, by the way, Glenn at 9:05, he showed up the very next morning. I still don't have anything. A kid fell this afternoon in it, and I thought, what is this? Does the city have to be sued before anybody does anything? Why can't that one person, there's two houses right there, 853 and 843, and nobody seems to do anything. Tell me, why can't somebody go out and just see where the water comes from?
Andy, I know that Drew has already went out, but I know Scott's probably working.
Scott's been out there before. I've been told to, well, we couldn't do it because the street pickup. Well, that was 2 years ago still, and we just had it again. Just so many things, but I can't get anything accomplished. I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back here. I don't want to take you guys' time up.
Mayor, I can talk with staff and come up with any solutions that we can. I do know that, you know, we can engage residents that are water wasters and do those types of things. So we will look at that and be in touch soon. I know that's more of what you've heard, but
I just keep
I'll provide
hearing
you
it, but
with-
nobody does anything.
Yeah,
I'm begging you guys before one of us falls. My husband's going to be 90 next month. Takes the garbage cans out. you know, when you're older and a broken bone, you're done.
So
And I
I'll-
think
Ms.
it's so silly, especially, the city is liable. If somebody falls, apparently the city's liable, they can sue the city.
Well, Ms. Watkins, thank you. I know that must be very frustrating coming back.
It
Our
is.
city manager now will handle it and take care of it. And so
The last thing I want to do is be rude to anybody. I just want somebody to do something. I've got all the calls documented, who I've spoken to, the yard where I've gone, I've done everything.
Thank you for bringing, that's what we want.
So
We
what
want you to
is the
come back.
next
so.
step? What am I going to
Andy-
expect?
Andy will speak with you, and then he'll handle it with regards to talking with the staff to see what we have done thus far, and if there's anything else we can do, we will be on top of it. So you have our top guy now, our city manager on it. So thank you, Ms. Watkins.
Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Good evening to the City of Clovis, the City Council.
Okay.
It is an honor to be here today. It's been too long since the veterans of Clovis have been up here to address you and say hi. And so I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Christopher Threlkill, commander of the VFW post here in Clovis. I'm also the president of Central Valley Veterans. This is Tim Libretto, the commander for the American Legion Post 147. This is Gerald Hayden, the incoming commander for VFW Post 3225. Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. And you know what? I'm going to do an upbeat. And I'm going to say thank you very much for all your service, the City of Clovis. What I want to do is I passed around to you a certificate. And there's a reason why we did that today. It's because we'd like to recognize the city. Because even in the smallest amount of things that all of you do, it means a lot to help us help the community. Now, what you asked, what does VFW do? Well, a perfect example is if some of you, the mayor was there, Drew was there at one of our flag retirement ceremonies. Did you know that we properly and patriotically retired over 6,200 flags in honor? And the city was there and being part of it and knew, and they didn't arrest any of us for the smoke. That's a great thing. But some of the things that we do, we're part of Carry the Load that just came across just last week. That was a walk from Railroad Park to the Memorial District that's honoring our fallen veterans and first responders, sorry. We do farmers market starting last week. Every Friday, you will find the VFW, and now, under Tim's command, the American Legion posts there, welcoming people, answering questions, because people are curious. What does the VFW and the American Legion do? And we're there to honor them and to talk to them and bring them in and join the community, because the veterans community here in Clovis is outstanding. You know why? Because all of you support us. So that's why we need to support you. Some of the things, Drew, thank you very much for your speech during Loyalty Day. It was an honor to have you there, sir. We do things like coming up the Veterans Day parades. You'll see our float with all the flags coming across. We're honored to be there and represent. Coming up, we do some of the other things we do within the community. Did you know that we go to schools? We've gone to Copper Elementary, Buchanan, Clovis North, Magna Elementary, and of course, we also did Weldon with the Red Ribbon Week. And we educate and promote patriotism and community involvement, showing the flags, how to properly fold the flag, and the meaning of the flag. It's great involving the children also, not only just the community. Our Honor Guard, oh my goodness. How many people have seen our Honor Guard? They are always out there. You know what? They've been invited to 5 different Grizzly games to promote, yes. They've been asked to do many other different events. That's how well known we are. And we are sponsored by and supported by you, the City of Clovis. So thank you very much. So look for us everywhere we go. Those nice white shirts, not mine. So with that being said, I'd like to read the award I gave you that I have in front of you. The Veterans Organizations of Clovis, California. from the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3225 and the American Legion Post 147, a certificate of appreciation presented to the Clovis City Council. This certificate is to express our deepest appreciation from the VFW Post 3225 and the American Legion Post 147 for the city's support and personal council member contributions. This cooperation allows the posts to continue with the community service, promoting citizenship, patriotism within the Clovis and the entire valley. Our partnership is something to make the community proud when the veterans organizations and local governments work together with a common goal. Thank you very much for supporting the veteran community. With that being said, I would once again thank you very much, and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Any comments or questions from the council? Go ahead, Drew.
Just,
Go ahead, Drew.
thank you for coming in. We're used to giving the thanks and not receiving them, so that's always.
I like the lighter side.
That's always nice. My dad was a VFW guy. He was an American Legion guy. He was a DAV guy. Thank you for what the organization does. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for what you do. We always see you out there. And what I love about our organizations in Clovis is that we go everywhere. And so it's not just in Clovis. I mean, I see you guys out at the VA, at events out in Fresno. And so that's just super that you guys are anywhere we are needed. And I think it was you, Commander Libretto, when you said, you know, the service doesn't look at color, whatever, stripes, whatever. You don't look at any of that. If you're a veteran, we care for you, and you're here to serve all of us. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, just to add to that, when we do Wreaths Across America, we do over 4,000 wreaths. When they come in, it comes in one semi. And we have the entire community. We have everybody, the high schools come in. They're out there placing the individual flags on every single gravesite. We have the high schools come in to help us unpack that semi, put them on trailers just so when the community does the next day, the wreaths are ready to go. 4,000. And you know what? We not only service Clovis, we do Academy, Red Bank, Coors Gold, Aubrey, and I'm missing one. Well, Sierra. We cover, just like you said, we cover pretty much the valley here. And so with that, thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for the certificate to the entire council.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else like to address the council? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public portion. Now we'll move to the consent calendar. We have items 3 to 11. Consent items are routine in nature and are recommended for approval by the City Council. These items will be considered and voted on as a single item unless a council member requests separate consideration of any item. Any items you'd like to pull from the council?
I just want to make a comment on item number 10. So if you want me to pull it or just comment.
Do you need staff to present it all?
I do not.
Okay, so we can just take the comment.
I just want to call out the bid award for the Peg Boss Plaza. Yay. So thank you so much. And the staff report says the work will be completed 20 days after the execution of the contract. So that's super great. So let's get that done and plan a ribbon cutting and get Peg out there then. Thanks.
Good.
Thank you.
Any other items? Okay. We'll open up to the public. Anyone like to address items 3 to 11? Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Stephen Trevino. I live on Bullard. I just wanted to make a comment. Through the years, I've been in here a few times, maybe within the last 20 years, 15 years, I don't remember. But I remember coming here one time when they were going to build that big shopping center that's over by Fresno State. And Peg Boss was here. And this whole side was here was just full of people. Everybody was angry and mad and everything else. And I remember seeing Peg Boss in her long dress. And she was over here pounding on the podium. You know, you can't do that. You can't, you know, and all this. But I never really met her. I just knew who she was. And and from other people telling me who she was. But I could tell that she loves this city just like many other people do. And we may not have the same opinions, we may not agree on everything, but she loves this city. And I spoke to her at the historical, at the museum one day. And she was telling me about, let's talk Clovis. And you can see her, she comes out, they show her in the community newspaper. And she is an icon. I mean, I don't know, there's other people here that you could say they're total icons of the city of Clovis, but she is an icon for the city of Clovis. And she deserves every recognition that you can give anyone in this city. She deserves it. So anyways, thank you.
Thank you.
That
Thank you
was
for
beautiful.
that, Mr. Trevino. Anyone else like to address any of the items 3 to 11 on the consent items? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that. What's the pleasure?
I'll
of
make
the-
a motion to approve items 3 through 11.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we'll move to administrative items. We have item number 12. This is approval, the City of Clovis Youth Commission revised bylaws and receive the annual report updated from the Youth Commission. Staff on this is Chad McCullum and Brianna Parra, our city clerk, and our co-chairs, Avrit Samra and Alien Mariaga, co-chairs.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off before we send it to our co-chairs. So I want to welcome all of our youth commissioners who are here to represent their co-chairs in their 24-25 Youth Commission. Before I hand it over to them, I want to give a little bit of a background. The City Clovis Commission was established on October 2023 by a unanimous vote of the council. The vision was to create a space where young people could engage directly in civic matters and strengthen youth voices in shaping our future. The Youth Commission's purpose is simple but powerful, and it's to promote civic engagement and empower youth to take an active role in their local government. Memberships is open to Clovis residents in 10th through 12th grade, so long as they are residents of Clovis, and the commission can be up to 21 students representing diverse schools. For our first meeting, we kicked it off with a formal introduction to local government. During this session, the council members were introduced, city manager and staff, and they learned, the commissioners learned about their roles in the city operations. Our city attorney provided an overview of the Brown Act, which helped our commissioners understand the importance of transparency and open government. We also covered how to run a public meeting, and we explored the city's vision, mission, and core values. The first meeting was truly where the commissioners were, the foundation was built on. I apologize. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Chad.
Thank you, Brianna. So Brianna and I are city staff who have been assigned to work with the Youth Commission, and it has been one of the unexpected highlights of my job. It is so incredibly rewarding to work with these talented, smart, accomplished, and very funny young people, and to be inspired by them. This commission for this year is made up of 20 youth commissioners. We have a ability to have 21, so we lost one early on, and that was something that we didn't lose him. He did not continue with the youth commission, and it did change how the bylaws were written. So we'll get to that in a little bit. All of the commissioners reside within the city of Clovis. They are sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and the schools that they represent are Buchanan, Clovis High, Clovis East, and University High. But enough of the talking by the old, boring adult. Let's turn it over to our youth commissioners. So our youth commission is led by co-chairs that are selected by their peers. There are also several committees that have chairs who are also selected by the group. This year, our co-chairs are Avrit Samra and Elian Moraga, and it is my pleasure to turn it over to them.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alian. and I'm one of the co-chairs of the Clovis Youth Commission.
And I'm Maverick, the second co-chair of the Youth Commission.
One of our first major activities this year was during our second meeting, where we had the chance to go on a trolley tour and aboard Dolly the Trolley. This tour gave us a deeper look at the heart of Clovis, visiting places that help build and support our community. From the transit and senior center to the water treatment plant and Miss Wrinkle's Pet Adoption Center, we learned how these sites help Clovis thrive.
Here you can see some photos from that day. One stop that stood out to me was the water treatment plant. Learning about the process water goes through before it reaches our homes is incredible. And hearing that Clovis uses about around 8 billion gallons a year, that is huge. That's a lot. Just so you know, that's a big number. Was both eye-opening and fascinating. We also visited the fire station, rec center, police department, and other community hubs. While we don't have a picture from our visit to Miss Winkle's, it was a favorite stop for many of us. You got to see cute animals. What more could you want, you know? We love seeing the animals and learned how the center helps connect pets with loving homes, which is amazing.
During our third meeting, we visited the Clovis Veterans Memorial District Museum. This experience helped us understand our city's history, especially learning about its founders, Clovis Cole, Marcus Pulaski, and Charles Shaver. Seeing photos and memorabilia from Clovis's early days was a great way to connect with our city's roots. Throughout the year, the Clovis Youth Commission actively participated in several community events like the Christmas tree lighting, the trolley parade, the Hall of Fame dinner, and the Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast.
In these photos, you'll see us at the Christmas parade and tree lighting ceremony. It was super duper fun. We got to see really cute kids. They were so cute. Oh my goodness. Just so you know, they were the cutest things ever. We helped hand out hot cocoa and cookies and guided families in line for photos with Santa. I know for me, that was a core memory. I love Santa, and I always got my presents, so. These events reminded us how traditions can be made stronger through youth involvement.
We also attended the Martin Luther King breakfast, where Mayor Mwanatua shared inspiring words about leadership and justice.
And the rodeo parade, which was super duper fun, because we got to go on Dolly and the Trolley, which was nice, but an antique fire truck, come on, what could get more awesome? Thanks to the fire department for that.
One of our proudest accomplishments this year was an event we created from scratch, the Cowboy Cleanup. The goal was to help prepare downtown Clovis for the annual rodeo while also promoting mental wellness in our community.
We had 84 volunteers and collected 550 pounds of trash. That's huge. While we initially hoped for 100 volunteers, we were thrilled with the turnout and how many people came to help out with make the community better.
At the end of the cleanup, we also hosted a kindness station where people could paint positive messages on rocks. These were then placed in public spaces to spread joy and encouragement across the community.
That was amazing. We hope to continue growing our mental health awareness group, and we were a step in this year, and I hope that next year we have a bigger impact. And we also want to thank all 84 of our volunteers who showed up early and worked hard, because waking up that early, it's a struggle. We're also incredibly grateful to the Clovis Rodeo Association and various city departments who helped make this event possible. On the behalf of the entire Youth Commission, we'd like to thank our mentors for helping us develop the Cowboy Cleanup from start to finish, because this is all our first time doing this, so it was really nice to have that help. Thank you to Amy, Molly, Maiku, Tim, Victor, and Taylor for all your time, encouragement, and advice. And of course, thank you to the city staff, Chad, for the amazing jokes. I have to say, they were quite funny. Brianna for always being there, helping us be calm through our speeches. Rebecca for the amazing snacks, and Christian for the amazing photos, for keeping us on track throughout the year.
Real quick, if you see this and you'd like to be a part of the Youth Commission, we are gladly accepting applications to become a Clovis Youth Commission. Next year, we are planning on more projects to come out sooner so we can get the youth more involved in our city. If you're interested in applying, applications are on the City of Clovis website. Our only requirements are that you're an incoming 10th, 11th, or 12th grader who lives in Clovis. So if you look to make amazing new friends, develop new leadership skills, and learn and connect with your city, make sure you apply today. Our application deadline is Friday, June 20th, 2025.
I made a bunch of nice friends, so I would say join it, because these people are awesome. I'm awesome. Please join. Anyways, heading back to Chad.
Thank you to you two. Everett and Elian, such a great job. We have city staff who have not presented to council before, and you guys just did a great job. I'm very proud of you. Well done. Can we give them a hand?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, going off script here just a bit, obviously one of those two young people sitting down is kind of a character, kind of silly and very confident. And Elian, maybe it's not as natural for him to present in a group like this, but to see how much both of them have grown during this time. They would run meetings, they would represent the city, along with the rest of the group, all of the youth commissioners who are here today, and their peers who were unable to make it. I'm just so proud of them, so really well done. So this year is the first year where we have seniors who are graduating. Last year we had sophomores and juniors, so they've moved up. We now have a cohort that has sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and some of our seniors are now leaving us. So this is a photo that we took at our last meeting. We had them pin a little flag on the map of where they're going. So some of the great schools that our youth commissioners are heading off to do great things are two are going to UC Berkeley, one is going to UC Merced, one is staying in town as a Smith Camp Scholarship winner, really amazing. We have a young man heading to the United States Merchant Marine Academy, which is very impressive. We have a student heading to Southern California to go to college, one in Oregon and one in Texas. So very impressive. It's no surprise because these are just the best of the best that Clovis has to offer. And it has just been an amazing experience to work with this commission this year.
Thanks, Chad. So council, before you, we do have our revised bylaws that we are asking you to approve. There were some changes after a survey that we held with the commissioners. Some of those included, they included a reappointment process to streamline the returned and experienced commissioners. The returning commissioners now have the option to serve 2 to 3 years if they so desire and are reappointed. This allowed for more flexibility and efficiency in both the Youth Commission and for city staff. And we also certified some leadership roles, co-chairs, secretary, and the ex officios. So before you, we are recommending that you approve our revised bylaws.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to our staff. And so, as part of presenting to council, you have to take council comments and questions. So any questions of the council for our commissioners so we can kind of
Just a
grill them?
quick question. Those of you going away to school, are you coming back? Going to bring your knowledge back to Clovis. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Hopefully they come back. That's what they
Yeah.
said.
Great job. You did awesome. Thank you.
Go ahead, Liz.
I love all of you. You're all my children, so God love you. Did because we talked about having like an ex officio seat for did I see that in here?
That is in the bylaws.
Yes, that's
Where did I see that? Why did I not see it?
Yep, if it's in our red line and it's.
I was looking in the non-red line.
Yeah, it's in both.
Okay, I
But you
didn't
have
see
an
it.
ex officio for GPAC and for Measure Y.
Excellent. Yeah. I think you all I thought you were all just amazing. It's really fun to watch what you did. I still tell Grace, I'm still waiting for my glossary on how it is that you talk. And the other day I got this New York Times game and I got it because of you, because it was all these words that meant like happy or something. One of the words was lit, and you told me that was a word, and I was like, yes. So anyway, I got the game because of you. So it was really fun. It was just a privilege to watch you and hang out with you, and thank you for always saying yes. serving at the senior center, coming to the Hall of Fame dinner, really great. So just a privilege. Thank you. Yeah. Do you have, are they done meeting this year?
We will actually have many of our youth commissioners at the mayor's breakfast this Thursday, so you'll see them there.
Okay.
And I just wanted to thank Brianna and Chad for your leadership as it was evolving, and it's sort of their work, but with your guidance. And so thank you for that. I want to say to the community at large, thank you for accepting them. Because when they were out, you know, rodeo folks, you know, kind of gravitated towards them, boo people. And for you to see that this community, it's not really just the city, it's really all those other organizations, families, volunteers, they make all those things happen. And so I'm just thankful that our community accepted them. And please always wear that with pride, letting them know that you are commissioners. And so that way they can always, I think it's growing on the community knowing that you are a part of us or an extension of the city and you are the future. And I think that's very important. And remember also that this entire council is a source, whether it's for a reference, whether it's for anything. We are here, and not just us, but you are now friends with a lot of the staff, closer probably than your parents to many of the department chairs and to the staff, and that hopefully you will always be a resource for the rest of your friends in the community, meaning this is who we can reach, or you can just reach out to Chad to help and be an extension of the city to everyone. And wear that proudly, because we need advocates and proponents like you guys in the community. And so thank you for volunteering and coming on board, and for adding or making changes so that way we can keep making this commission better and to fit what you need. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and open the public portion. If there's anyone in the public like to address this item, you can do so at this time. Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back, and we have some items to approve.
Be my privilege to make a motion to approve the City of Clovis Youth Commission revised bylaws and receive their annual report. And they did a brilliant job.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Yes.
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay. Okay, next item is item 13. We are considering approval of actions related to support or not support of various legislation. We have items A through H. Do I need to read all of them, Scott? Is it? No? Okay. And staff on this is our, it's not interim anymore, right? Is it official?
Next week, come back.
Next week, okay. So
Yeah,
interim
come back.
city manager Paul Armendariz.
Mayor, I have a point of order.
Sure.
Question. I think we should yay or nay each of these instead of waiting to the end. This way, in the event that I'm for one and I'm for another, I don't know, maybe point of order that would work better, then we can ask public comment on each item. But to your, whatever your pleasure on that is.
I'm good with that. So do we want to take, because I think there's recommendations on the yays and the nays. And so take them in order of 1 through 16. I think that's what I see here for the attachments. And so is that, can you present it that way? Is that not?
Just A through H?
But for the attachment letters for propose, yeah, A through H, yeah.
Items A through H, and at your pleasure, we can either do one at a time and open up to public comments at the end, or if you'd like to open up to public comments on each item, we can do that as well.
Okay.
It's up-
Did you want public comment on each one?
I think somebody in the audience might want to respond to
Each one,
individual
okay.
things.
Yeah,
before
let's
we-
do that. So if you can do that, we'll wrap each one individually. Thank you, Paul.
Of course. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Okay, this is item A, Senate Bill 496, and as we had mentioned, there's 8 different bills in front of you tonight at various stages. The first one, SB 496, Advanced Clean Fleets Regulation. So in summary, and I have a brief summary of each bill. In your package is the entire bill, and then with staff's recommendation, of course. So this bill would require the state board to establish an Advanced Clean Fleets Regulation Appeals Advisory Committee to review appeals of denied requests for exemptions. It would also exempt from the Advanced Clean Fleets Regulation or any similar regulation vehicles reasonably anticipated to respond to emergency situations or that support those efforts. Staff is recommending sending a letter of support for this bill. This bill is currently at the Senate Appropriations Committee's suspense file as of just last week.
Go ahead.
Can I should have asked before you started.
Of course.
Can you give me one paragraph on how this particular list came to us? Because there's 3,000 bills in the state legislature. I know they'd all have to do with cities, but can you talk about how you came up with this list, just as context for my brain?
Of
please?
course. So the first 2 items on March 4th of 2025, at the city council meeting during council comments, I believe Councilmember Bessinger had brought this item forth.
The first one, yeah.
The first one for
Yeah, yeah,
discussion.
yeah.
You want me to go one by one or just
No, but I mean,
cover?
just as generally, have we raised these questions? Did individual council members say, I really want to do this? Just a little bit of history?
Yeah, the first one, yes. The second one, SB 554, was also brought forth by Mayor Pro Tem Pierce during council comments. The following 3 after that was brought forth by staff, alcohol and drug recovery and treatment facilities, and that's because we've had in the past some situations where we wanted to address those, and so we're bringing those forth.
Okay.
The remaining 3, I believe, are brought forth by council members as well during, not during a public setting, but through an email saying, let's consider this and bring it forward.
So not necessarily driven by a Cal Cities request or a collective action, anything along that?
Several of these do have recommendations from Cal Cities. I believe SB 329,
I saw in the document some of
492,
them, yeah.
424,
Yeah,
all
okay.
were recommended by Cal Cities. So
Okay.
we did base some of the recommendations off of
Okay.
Cal Cities recommendations.
Thank you. I need a little frame.
Yeah, of course,
Okay.
and that's a good point.
Yeah, all right, so, sorry, back to A.
So item A, looking for
Are
council's
there any
direction.
questions or comments? Go ahead, Drew.
This legislation is a very good start. Obviously, we need to do more, but I think Senator Hurtado really has her finger on the pulse here.
Any comments or questions from us? Okay, this time we're going to go ahead and open the public portion. This is on SB 496. So if you have comments on that one. Go ahead.
Okay, there we are. Good evening, Eric Rollins, 575 West Ashcroft. Overall, I'm very happy to see that the city is a little more proactive. Constantly, Sacramento, anytime I open up any number of places, news about what Sacramento's doing. They've always got another rule, regulation. It's like they're trying to justify their existence. And I don't think that a whole lot of those rules are well thought out. I would rather at an accountable level, meaning a city level, so I'd rather have politicians that are accountable to the people make these decisions in many cases. I would even go as far as to say most cases. So I love the fact this is proactive. Specifically to item A, it is completely ridiculous to me that emergency vehicles are being mandated to be nothing but clean air vehicles. There are too many problems with electric vehicles in emergency situations at this point. We are nowhere near ready for it. So I see this as a great first step, and I'm very pleased to see that the council, or at least I would encourage the council to vote on this one in the affirmative. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Stephen Trevino. I live on Bullard. For 30 years, I was a truck driver. I retired about 3 years ago. And I worked for a company out of Fowler. We were delivering packaging. And during that time that I worked there, I think I must have had about 5 different tractors, but we were all assigned tractors. But the last 3 tractors that I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, the last 3 trucks that I was driving, it was through the California Air Pollution Board, all this other stuff. And my boss, they had to buy new trucks just to make everybody happy. And it was a lot of money. And so the last few years, we had what they call regen your motor. We had this special muffler in the back that filtered all this stuff and it burned it. Excuse me. And sometimes we had to stop in the middle of the highway. We had to find a place where there was no grass, nothing, and then we had to push a button, and the engine would go on, and you see sparks coming out of the back of the muffler in the back. We call it anyways, it was a really pain in the rear end, and I don't know. My boss, we'd only have these tractors maybe for a few years, and then he'd have to go buy more, and more tractors, and the driver, many of the truck driving companies were just complaining because there was no reason for this, you know? It just cost tons of money, and we had to put up with all this. So, anyways.
I apologize. This is a giant bug. So sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, we're having a hard time up here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino.
Sorry.
Anyone else?
It was on my chair, honestly. Sorry.
It's a bug. We'll
Between
take care
you,
of
your
it.
blue ink, and me and a bug in my hair.
Okay.
See, it was real. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm good now.
We're going to bring it back to the council. So,
Motion to support a letter of support for Senate Bill 496.
Second.
motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next one.
Moving on, item B, as in boy, SB 554, also titled Safety Before Criminal Sanctuary Act. SB 554 limits local jurisdictions from further restricting cooperation with ICE or Immigration and Customs Enforcement beyond what was already established under Senate Bill 54 in 2017, approved in 2017 or passed in 2017. While SB 54 allowed but did not require local law enforcement to cooperate with ICE for individuals convicted of serious felonies, SB 554 mandates cooperation for specific violent crimes. Staff's recommendation for this item is to send a letter of support. This item was recently, I believe, not passed. However, I'm not sure if it's going to be reconsidered, amended, and reintroduced. That's all I have for that item.
Questions or comments on this one?
To Chief's perspective, can you nod if you're in support of this? Thumbs up. But it's not active anymore?
The second hearing just recently failed passage, so I don't think it's not that it's not active. I'm just not sure if it's going to be reconsidered and amended going forward. So
I don't know what that means. So is it? It's not dead in the committee.
It's not in the suspense file yet.
It's not in the suspense file. It's just hanging out for now.
that is my understanding, correct?
Any other questions or comments on this? Okay, go ahead and open the public portion if you're here to comment on SB 554. Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council. What's our pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to approve sending a letter of support for SB 554.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is Senate Bill 329.
The next three If the mayor's okay with it, I think we could probably take all three at this, as under one action. This would be items C, D, and E. They all are in, regarding alcohol and drug recovery and treatment facilities. So starting with the first, SB 329, Black Spear. This requires the California Department of Health Care Services to complete timely investigations and complaints about alcohol and drug treatment facilities. Complaints must be assigned to an analyst within 10 days for investigation. Current law requires DHCS to investigate complaints but sets no timeline. Staff is recommending a letter of support. The next one, AB 492, again with alcohol and drug recovery programs, require the DHCS to notify cities anytime a new alcohol and drug treatment facility is approved in their jurisdiction. Staff is also recommending a letter of support. And the last item, AB 424, requires DHCS to notify individuals at 3 key points. One, when their complaint is received, when the investigation concludes, and of the outcome of that investigation. Currently, DHCS does not automatically provide this information. Instead, the complainant must go through a PRA or Public Records Act request, which can take months or sometimes a year to receive. Staff is also recommending a letter of support for this item. These three items were also Cal Cities took a position on, and we got the letters of recommendation and that language from Cal Cities.
Okay. Any questions for staff on this one? Go ahead, Drew.
Just basically, I'll wait till we're.
What did you say?
No.
Okay.
Well, I think my question is, I didn't think the legislation, what kind of complaints? Care, licensing, noise, parking? I mean, the bill doesn't talk about what kind of complaints. I think this is I think it's right, but it's a black hole. What does that mean? I don't know. I think that would be a never-ending chase. I wish it said what kind of complaints. Because it wouldn't be our jurisdiction if the care was bad. That's not really a city concern. If there's criminal activity or, I guess I don't know what the bill wants us to do, to be honest.
So my understanding is that the league put this together to allow neighbors to complain about care homes, group homes that are causing problems in the neighborhood.
It doesn't say that.
Right, but that was my understanding of what the league package did in whole.
Okay.
It kind of sounds to me like the bill wants to force the regulatory agencies to actually do something in a more timely manner and report back. I think residential drug and alcohol recovery and treatment facilities are important in our community, but they can be problematic in neighborhoods if they're not properly maintained or supervised. So I'm in support of this.
And the way I read these three is, it's a mechanism to have some sort of local control now, some sort of where neighbors can actually address some of these issues. And so that is where we don't have right now. And I know that a couple of years ago we had an incident, but we couldn't do anything other than be a forum for neighbors and the actual owner of the home to come and meet. But now potentially it may start to allow local jurisdictions, local residents to have more or some say in these facilities.
Could I just say one thing? I mean,
Yes.
I think all that what you said is right, but the way this reads is the department shall conduct an investigation, and if the department determines it has jurisdiction over a complaint, they'll assign the complaint. They're not going to have any jurisdiction over noise or parking on the grass or, I mean, it's an endless circle. This will take the consumer nowhere. I think we should have ability to control them. So I'm really struggling. But this bill says the department will go, no, we can't do that. You have a city government. You call them, and then we say we can't do anything. This bill gives us no ability to act. I guess I don't know why. I don't see anything in here that makes me feel better about that. I'd love to support it if it had better language.
I foresee a scenario, let's say you're having an issue with a drug and alcohol recovery center house. State does the investigation, they find them in violation. That is now disclosable to the neighbors so that they can take small claims actions, they can create a lawsuit. It also gives the city of Clovis or a local agency the ability to start some legal action of our own. I think it gets them to do the investigation because they're going to tell us you don't have purview in this area. So I think it's a good start. It's probably imperfect, but that's the nature of the world.
Boy, I don't know, I wish it were true. I wish that was what it says, but I don't think that's what it says, but, okay. This is a no harm, no foul legislation because nothing will happen with it.
Okay, this time we're going to go ahead and open the public portion. This is for Senate Bill 329, Assembly Bill 492, and Assembly Bill 424. We're taking all three of these in one action. Okay, no one in the public, will bring it back to the council.
Motion to approve a letter of support for items C, D, and E on the agenda.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm going to abstain. I think these are
Okay.
useless.
So 4 in support and 1 abstention.
Right idea, wrong legislation.
Next is Senate Bill 79, and this recommendation is for an opposition.
This is item F in the package. Planning and zoning, this is also known as the Abundant and Affordable Homes Near Transit Act. This would require cities to ministerially approve higher density residential projects of up to 7 stories near public transit stops, regardless of local zoning codes. Staff's recommendation is to send a letter of opposition for this Senate bill.
Are there questions for staff on this one? Anyone in the public like to address this item, SB 79? Okay, bring it back. What's the pleasure of the council?
Motion to support a letter of opposition, Senate Bill 79.
Second.
We have motion second on the floor. All those in favor of the opposition signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is AB 942.
This is item G in the package. This Assembly Bill 942, net energy metering, proposes phasing out legacy NEM programs, which is net energy metering programs, by requiring customer generators who have participated in NEM 1.0 or 2.0 for 10 or more years to transition to a new tariff adopted after December 1st of 2022, beginning July 1st, 2026. The bill also requires new property owners who purchase homes with existing renewable energy systems to adopt the new tariff and disqualifies both groups from certain credits and incentives. Staff is recommending sending a letter of opposition for this Assembly bill.
Any questions or comments? Okay.
And Mayor, if I may, this does or could potentially impact some of the solar facilities the city has installed as well, just to be clear.
Yes, just as a home solar owner as well, there's just always a way to get us for complying. You know, some of us complied during NEM1, got a certain amount of promises, and then we complied during NEM2, we do it, and now, you know, NEM3, there's no reimbursement. So, in other words, we are being very compliant, the home builders are being compliant, and now they're trying to take all that away, so that way, for those of any of us who have gone in early, you lose all of that. So it's just very disappointing in what the legislature is trying to do. Okay. Drew, did you have?
I believe the phrase is "no good deed ever goes unpunished."
Okay, we're going to go ahead and open the public portion. Anyone like to address this item? So it's for AB 942. Go ahead.
And I'm a homeowner just north of the Walmart shopping center. And I have solar, and I have 2 different solar systems. And this legislation breaks the contracts that I made when we took out the solar in good faith. And so I can see this ending up in litigation because I don't see how it's legal, but it will affect us, many of us, and it's also a deterrent to clean energy. So I urge you, as you agree, I'm sure, to oppose this bill. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. And I want to say one more thing. It increased the price of homes, 6,000 to 8,000, 12,000. So meaning the last time when homes were required to build a solar on new homes. And so now if they do this and we're not getting anything back, now homes are going to build with a battery system, which is going to increase the cost of homes even more. And so, you know, as much as we want to talk about affordability and wanting to help, we really hurt the people who are just trying to get a home, trying to, you know, make ends meet. So, all right, what's the pleasure of the council on this?
I motion to approve a letter of opposition for AB 942.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. The last one is AB 647.
This is item G.
H.
Last item is a G. Sorry, thank you. H. Last item.
That's
H.
how the alphabet goes.
I did.
G,
Yeah,
H.
it's a long day. So this is housing developments approvals, better urban infill and livable design build. Housing Act of 2025 is the name of it. This would allow for ministerial approval of housing projects with up to 8 new units on lots with existing single-family homes or those zoned for fewer than 8 units. Once those units are constructed, Government Code Section 66323A4 requires local jurisdictions to allow up to additional 8 ADUs on that same lot, bringing the total allowable units to 16, while simultaneously ignoring existing height limits, density requirements, and parking standards. Staff is recommending sending a letter of opposition. I will say that a recent status of this is that the author had canceled the the hearing was canceled at the request of the author. It hasn't been pulled completely, but canceled, and I don't know if they're going to be addressing some of the concerns and amending it or not.
Should we wait and send a letter until we see what the bill says? I mean, if it gets changed, or I don't know how you could make this possibly better, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the pleasure of the council. We could either.
Sending a letter for a bill that doesn't exist anymore seems odd. If it comes back worse, so
I guess
I don't.
my only concern is if, I'm not sure how long it'll be canceled and what the process is if they put it on the next hearing notice, and so maybe we want to have something in a queue to get ready to send. If it does change, we can come back to council.
It's not getting any better, I am sure that's true.
My opinion is to send a letter just because it's not unusual for someone to pull legislation and then reinsert it into something else 2 weeks later and change the name a little bit, or just change the bill number. So
that's fair.
This is, can you imagine you have a lot next to you and somebody plunks 16 units in there and everybody's parking in front of your house and they simply don't care?
It's got such a great acronym, though. How could they possibly not want to save this bill? Let's go for it.
And I also want to just state for the record, you know, California is so environmentally conscious, but yet when we do this, we don't care about what our current EIR is in studying the current piece of land that it's zoned for. And so now we can 8 times whatever was already zoned there. So with regards to sewer, water, the needs of the city for police and fire to support all this, and it just goes out the door. And the most, I would say, insulting thing is it leaves all of you out of it. There's no hearing, you know, it's going to be by right. And so all we can do is just kind of sit back and just go, okay, I guess we're building more homes and more units. And so that's why I totally oppose something like this.
Well, there's lots of press lately, I think it's San Diego, that are sort of up in arms because all of this, even the four units per lot is causing in these neighborhoods just insane chaos. And so there's these unintended consequences. So I mean, I agree with this for sure.
Okay, we're going to go open the public portion. Anyone want to speak on AB 647? Okay, seeing none, bring it back to the council. What's the pleasure of the council?
Motion to support a letter of opposition for AB 647. Also direct staff to keep an eye on this and see how it pokes its ugly head back up.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Can I just make one more comment? I don't know what the letter is going to say, but on the three that I abstain from, they're the right, I guess adding more useless legislation in California doesn't make any sense to me. But if our letter could just express, we'd love to see more teeth, more clarity, that would be, I mean, we gotta have something to enforce. So even defining a kind of complaint, we don't need more bills that don't give us anything to do. So I have great conflict over not supporting this, but we don't need unnecessary legislation, in my opinion. So if we could just ask to help them define clarity, that would be great. So, thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to thank staff for your attention on this. Also, I don't mind getting 8 or so at one time, but if there's something on the horizon that we need to deal with quickly, we need to either get it on the agenda, or we need to reach out to individual council members or even the mayor to send individual letters if we need to get one out there quickly, because I know sometimes these things come up on the horizon and we're not expecting them.
And just to let the public know, any of us can always send our own individual letters, not on behalf of the city, but on behalf of our own individual seats. So, and many of us have done that in the past. So just want to let the public know that as well. Thank you very much, again, staff. Now we'll move to item 14, and this is to consider approval an updated reduced water major facilities development impact fee schedule and providing a description of fees to be requested for county adoption. And staff on this is our city engineer, Thad Avery. Thad?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Up here with me tonight is Assistant Public Utilities Director, Nick. He's gonna present most of this, and I'll follow up at the end.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight, first off, I'd like to go over just a little bit of background on how we got here, and then go over a little bit about the major facilities development fee update, and then talk about some next steps, and Thad will talk about those next steps. So in June of 2024, City Council adopted the current water major facility fee, and that fee is about $12,200 per equivalent dwelling unit. And then 60 days later, which was August 12th, that fee went into effect. And then in October of 2024, the city received a letter from the BIA challenging the fee. So after careful consideration and review of the letter from BIA, staff went back to City Council in December, and at that time it was decided that we would take time and review the methodology, or how the fee was calculated. So since then, staff has met with the BIA, and we formed a working group, and we began to review and to update the existing water major facility development fee. And over that process, we've had approximately 10 meetings with the working group, as well as other stakeholder meetings also. And then, so to calculate the new fee, staff reached out to some outside consultant, an outside consultant, and that outside consultant recommended a new fee methodology, and that is called the incremental method. And this methodology was also used by other agencies. So staff has done research and reviewed other fee reports that have used the same methodology. And the incremental method it follows this simple equation. It takes the cost of growth-related infrastructure, and then it divides it by the capacity that's created by that infrastructure. So for instance, if we have a well that costs $2 million, it will support X number of units. And that's how we come up with the cost per each unit. So for this fee calculation, what we did is we looked at the fee, all the infrastructure that's needed to support development from now until 2033. And that's a smaller window than our previous fee calculation, but it allows it to be more predictable. So this revises the fee from the $12,200 per EDU to $9,625 per EDU. And just a note about this fee is we consider this an interim fee. And as Thad's going to present later, our staff is in the process of getting a consultant on board to go over and to do a full comprehensive development fee program update. So this fee will be reviewed along with that process. And this $9,625 fee does not include any financing costs. And that was part of our collaborative effort working with the BIA work group. It was their request that we did not include any financing costs. So as a result, when we hit a point where we need to borrow money to construct large infrastructure, this fee will likely have a significant increase at that time. Along with this methodology, the staff created a cash flow model. And what we did with the cash flow model is we would project a development, how many units would come in each year. And what that allowed us to do was to understand the revenue that we would have. And then we also identified all of the projects or infrastructure that's needed to support the development that we projected, and that would be the expenditures. And then we compared our revenue and our expenditures on an annual basis, and that allowed us to project which projects we could construct with cash or with the funds that's generated from the fee, and which must be funded through debt service because we wouldn't have enough cash on hand. And the results of this analysis showed that we would likely need to bond for some significant infrastructure in the next 3 to 5 years. And this model also allowed us to work collaboratively with the BIA to project the city's ability to provide timely reimbursements for infrastructure that they would create with that they would construct with their projects. So as a result of our incremental method and this cash flow analysis, what we're presenting to you today is a $9,625 fee for your consideration. And now I'll pass it on to Thad, and he'll talk about some next steps.
Any questions, first of all, with regards to just that, since there was a lot with regards to how we got there? Okay. I had a question with the 2033, Nick. How was that date chosen, or that year, and then does that affect the need, because it's 2033 instead of 2043 of that calculation? Does it affect that? You know, so because if we did 2043, we'll say, we'll probably include everything, but because it's 2033, we're leading X number of projects out. And how did that come about? How did that date get selected?
Yeah, so we selected the 2033 specifically because there was a new surface water treatment plant that we determined would be needed at that time. So at that time, we would need a significant bonding action for that project. So anything beyond that, if we didn't include that bond, it began to become unclear. So it was more clear to be able to estimate what would be needed between now and 2033. So then as we get closer to 2033, we'll have to update that fee considering the infrastructure needed.
Okay. And then with the 12,256 till kind of now, has anyone paid that yet? And if they have, what is the plan? Are we reimbursing? Are we just crediting?
So there's been about a couple dozen that have paid that fee. And I'll have to review this with the city attorney, what we do moving forward. But my understanding, he can correct me if I'm incorrect on this, if the people that have paid the fee didn't submit their fee in protest, I don't believe that that's refundable. If they did submit it in protest, I believe it is. Can you help me on that, Scott?
Yeah, that's correct. We had a number of folks submit protests. So if the fee was paid under protest, there's a provision that would allow, if it's subsequently reduced, which is what the action would be tonight, then there would be a refund available. But if the fee was paid without protest, which some may have been, then legally they're not entitled to a refund, and the city's not required to issue a refund in that instance.
So there's about a couple dozen. We'll have to go through and just verify whether or not that was the case or not.
Okay. Thank you.
But before we
Go ahead.
go past with that, what does everybody think? I think I think we'd be doing things the wrong way if someone didn't file a protest, gave us the money, and we refund other people. That doesn't seem fair. Discussion.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We're not going to refund anybody else. We're just going to charge the new fee, right? So people are going to pay less going forward?
But this is for those who have paid.
Right, but he said refund. We're not going to refund anybody now. But you're asking, should we refund those that paid more than the 9,000?
If I'm understanding this correctly, if they posted their fees under protest, they're going to get a refund. If they didn't, they posted their fees without a protest or plan where we're not required to do it, I think we treat them exactly the same.
Is there a way we can do it legally?
Your order tonight, we could look into it, absolutely. The only thing I would be concerned, and again, I'm just thinking off the top of my head because I haven't looked into it, but I would want to make sure we're steering clear of any potential gift of public funds issue. Again, there's a mechanism in the Mitigation Fee Act to allow people to protest a fee if they think that it's in excess of what they're required to pay. The BIA did that. I think the BIA did that on behalf of all of its members. And if you recall, the city entered into a tolling agreement with the BIA and several developers to toll the period of limitations in which they would have to commence a lawsuit to further their protest. Again, you can submit the fee under protest, but then that doesn't just hold it in abeyance forever. They ultimately have to pursue a legal action, which we agreed, look, we'll look at the fee. You don't have to commence 15 lawsuits against the city, so we'll hold off. But I understand if the council wants to order tonight that all fees that were paid based on the previous amount would be issued a refund, staff can do that, but I do want to double check, at least as far as those that may have been paid. We could perhaps issue a credit if there's still some, on other ones, but if it's like a one-time, again, I don't know the 24 or so fees, but if there was just a one unit home that was built and fee was paid for one unit and that person's in and out and done and didn't file a protest, I mean, we can look in to see whether or not we legally could issue a refund in that instance.
Yeah,
I think that seems right.
If council's pleasure, I would recommend a motion that directs staff to issue refunds if legally permissible. And that gives, if it's legally permissible. Okay. That gives us the flexibility to maneuver through any way we can make it legal. But
I agree.
It probably is.
Thank you. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, so the next steps going forward. With approval tonight of staff's recommendation, the new fee of $9,625 for the water major facilities fee will go into effect immediately. And then going forward from there, staff will come back to council next Monday, May 19th, for approval for proposed fee update to the remaining development impact fees with the increase of the CCI of 0.8%. That is excluding the water major facilities, which we're approving tonight, or we're proposing to approve tonight, and all the sewer major facilities fees, actually all the sewer fees. We have a lot of questions as far as the sewer fees going on, so we don't want to move forward with any changes to that until we move on to the next step, which is to look into a long-term plan to provide a comprehensive fee program update with the consultants. And so right now, staff's working on RFP to be sent out in the very near future for a consultant to review all the development impact fees with the goal of coming back around this time next year with revised fees and possibly structure changes. The consultant that comes on will review all fees for defensibility and propose changes, if any, to the methodologies of each fee. Likely to update the methodology for certain fees, including all the major facilities fees. Changes in the fee methodology to become more defensible could mean large fluctuations in the fees going forward. Staff will include input with discussing possible changes to the fees from the industry. So we'll meet with the industry during this whole process to make sure that they're on board with what we're doing and they have their input listened to. Other items that the consultant will look into is the possibility of a buy-in component to the existing infrastructure. And we'll look at the reimbursement policy, whether or not fee credits for major facilities is something that we should do moving forward. And lastly, we'll also have them look into how CFDs can help facilitate improvements for development impact fees and how that will play into the fold. With that, the city staff recommends that we approve the updated reduced water major facilities fees, development impact fee schedule, and that's the end of the presentation.
Okay, questions?
Just one question, and then I'll make a comment a little bit later. But the phrase, the fees are less now, you mentioned it last week, but there'll be a significant increase in some number of years. How is it that we memorialize that so that the BIA in 7 years or 12 years, I mean, as we said, we all could be gone. Darren could be retired, living in Iowa. Okay, not Iowa, but somewhere. And you all could be retired. How do we memorialize that so that the council in 8 years isn't faced with the building industry going, well, nobody told us it was going to be that kind of increase? How do we do that? I know we can't commit. I know we can't legislate future councils. I get all that, but how do we communicate that?
So the reason for getting the consultant on board is to make sure that all our fees are defensible. In the past, we've always worked with development community and we've always come to terms with what was agreeable on both sides. I think with getting the consultant on board, we'll become defensible, and if there becomes disputes in the future, we could at least refer back to that. But we can always still work with the development community if there's a better way going forward.
Yeah, as long as it's documentable somewhere that this is possible or how we might get to it or whatever, just so we're not surprised in 8 years or whatever. Thanks.
Go ahead, Drew.
And we've worked closely with BIA and other developers who are not in the BIA on all of this conversations, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we received the letter from the BIA, so that was the working group that we set up to address what was covered in that letter. And then we had stakeholder meetings afterwards where we invited everybody to come to those stakeholder meetings.
I haven't gotten any phone calls one way or another. You're charging too much, you're not charging enough. I kind of would feel almost more comfortable if they were taking an opposition position, but thank you.
To Councilmember Ashbeck's point, Scott, is there any way in one of the whereases that we put that in? That it's a statement of fact. We don't know the exact date, but there is going to be a jump. So that way it's clear, because we're stating all factual things, but if there's a way to put that language in, so that's the resolution that is official, because what happens is if it's not in the resolution, everybody looks at the staff report and go, you mentioned it, but it's not in the resolution. And so is there a way, so that way, I know BIA is acknowledging it now because they understand, there will be a big bump in this fee whenever those major infrastructure items are there, so.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, and I think to Councilwoman Ashbeck's point, I was looking at the resolution. I thought we had something in there, but maybe it's only in the staff report. But I think it's not a bad idea. But at the end of the day, I think Thad kind of described the process, and with all due respect, in years from now, if we're comfortable with the fee and our consultants looked at it and legally we think it's defensible, we don't care whether the BIA agrees with it or not. That's how the old way was done. Hey, BIA, are you okay with this fee? We haven't really looked into it to see whether it supports what we legally could do, but the BIA was okay, they weren't gonna challenge it, so staff would recommend it. At some point, you know, if we don't think we're charging enough of a fee, but we think we can legally support it, and the BIA doesn't like it, or the development community doesn't like it, they can challenge us. And if we think we're legally defensible, we'll defend that. In this instance, I would suggest, we thought it was a better idea to at least look back at the methodology for this fee. But going forward, I think we're gonna shore it up. So I'm fine putting that in the resolution, but whether or not that ultimately would require them to do it, I mean, we can remind them 8 years from now, hey, you guys acknowledged that the fee was gonna go up. Well, we didn't know how much it was gonna go up. Well, it's gonna go up by the amount that we think is legally justifiable, so. But I'm fine including that in the resolution, but it's not gonna be binding, I guess I would say.
Any other comments or questions? I think I would be for putting it in, just because it's going to be a huge jump later, and kind of like what Lynn said, it'll be, what are you doing? You know, we didn't expect this, we didn't see this coming, and I think it'll just, hey, no, we knew this was coming, so.
Maybe it's just a statement that we recognize that there will be variability in the fee going forward, and that the industry could expect large increases over the lifetime of the fee, or just some language about that, because I do worry that, I agree. I think it should be some way to memorialize, because it was a big, I don't want to say concession, but it sort of was a meeting point, right? We wanted this, they wanted 6, we wanted 12, we landed at 9, perfect, but someday we might have to catch up, is what we're basically saying. So somewhere in there, I think would be a good idea.
And we all have, offline, have been told many things that your staff said this, and we're like, well, where, when, or we never knew about that. And then we're like, okay, but at least now we can go, no, we agreed, or we told you, or this is gonna happen. That's what I want to be able to establish clearly on the record, and if the resolution is it, then let's put it there. Okay, any other comments or questions? We're going to go ahead and open the public portion. If you are here to address us on agenda item number 14, you may do so.
Brian Wilson, 469 Bergen. I'm not all that familiar with the development fees and all that stuff. All I'm having to say is the developers are selling $500,000 homes here. And is that the developers we're talking about? I'm trying to determine that. Because $9,000 for the infrastructure does not seem like much off of a $500,000, $600,000 home, when the city services need to be there before that house can be occupied. So I'm not really sure if it's put into their bottom line is where the money's coming into. And so if they can get you guys to drop it down $4,000, $5,000, who benefits from that? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Vaughn, staff. Thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss this important issue. We do not oppose the reduction in fee. You'd be surprised to hear that. Most notably,
Can we put that in the resolution too?
yeah, you can put that. But we don't support fee increases. So anyway, I have to say that for the benefit of my members. But I especially just want to thank, and one of the things that we're really asking for last year was more collaboration, more transparency, digging into the details. And it should be noted that the margins for building a home are not is what you think they are. This is not the early 2000s. So, and those fees are passed directly onto the consumer, and it becomes, Clovis actually becomes less competitive. And it's just not a $9,000 fee. If you add up all the development impact fees, it's a lot of money. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. But the main reason I'm here today is I just really want to compliment the leadership at a staff level. Andy, he did a fantastic job in helping put this together. And Paul, thank you very much for the collaboration and organizing the logistics. And then I especially want to say thank you to Nick Torstenson, I can't pronounce his name, and Kevin Tuttle. I mean, you guys really dug into the data and really provide that transparency with my members and our working group, and it was really appreciated because we didn't really receive that type of access before. So that makes it helpful for us to move forward, and we really hope that we continue this level of collaboration into the future. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Darren. Anyone else to address the council? Okay. No more. We'll close the public portion. And any comments or motion? I just want to say thank you. I think this came before us several times, and you were expecting lay persons to make these decisions or comment on it. It was very difficult, but Andy to Paul, Renee, Thad, Nick, all the staff, and then with the BIA and your membership, thank you for working together to work out the difficult nitty-gritty before it came to us. So I think that was great.
I'll just second that. I mean, the Clovis practice has been to try to find that middle ground, and sometimes it takes longer than others, but just hats off to all of you that got in there and found a solution and sat down and looked at, I'm sure, more spreadsheets than you ever wanted to see in your life. But anyway, it took a while, and it was, uncomfortable, but thank you to everybody that really worked on it. Super great job.
What's the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve the updated, most important word in the paragraph, reduced water major facilities development impact fee schedule, and providing a description of fees to be requested for county adoption, and also ask staff to explore the refund possibility that we discussed. Do you want that in the motion?
Yes, please, and then if you want me to also add text into the resolution, I wouldn't suggest you guys need to see it, but just tell me to add text, or tell staff and I to add text about
Okay,
the
I just told you.
acknowledgement by the development community, yes.
And also add language that indicates the fluctuations in fees over time.
Okay.
Can you get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next, we'll move to item 15. And we have two items on here. Item 15 is consider actions related to annexation of territory, annexation number 75, northeast corner alluvial Sunnyside, SPR 2021-001, northeast corner of Shawn DeWolf, to the City of Clovis Community Facilities District number 2004-1, Police and Fire Services A, resolution, consider approving a resolution annexing territory, annexation number 75. And then B, consider resolution, the City of Clovis declaring the results of special landowner election and directing recording of the notice of special tax lien for City of Clovis Community Facilities District number 2004-1, Police and Fire Services. Staff on this is Jane. No.
I'm representing finance. Jay has the night off. I'm Susan Evans, Deputy
Susan.
Finance Director.
Okay. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Well, we're here today for the annexation of territory number 75. So I understand that there's an order of proceedings that happens for the hearing.
Do I have to read this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the time and place for the public hearing in this council's proceedings for Community Facilities District number 2004-1. The hearing is to acquire annexation number 75 into the district and the levy of special taxes in annexation number 75. Before I formally open the hearings, is there anyone who wishes to file a written protest? If so, they must be filed with the city clerk now. Okay. So there are no protests. The hearing is now open. We will first have presentations by staff about annexation number 75. After that, we will receive comments and questions and any oral protests from any interested persons. When all comments have been received, the hearing will be closed. Okay.
Mayor, before we proceed, I live at Clovis and Alluvial. I don't know that should be involved in this. I don't know the distance, quite frankly.
Scott, do we?
Yeah, we didn't,
Do we?
I guess
have to
we didn't
conflict
flag
out?
to look into that one, but I mean, it's your prerogative, Drew. I mean, if you want to sit out, I think it's fine. You know, when in doubt, sit it out is always the.
When it does,
Without us-
I will,
without us
I will,
actually-
I can sit out but still remain, right? Or do I need to leave?
I would suggest you leave because it's not on consent, so. Just for the record, Drew, I'll speak for you. We're not sure if there's a real property interest, proximity, conflict of interest, so you're erring on the side of recusing yourself and not participating in this decision.
That's my nature.
Yeah.
Okay, just for the record, Councilmember Betzinger has recused himself of because of a potential conflict. Okay, go ahead, Stan.
On April 7th, 2025, the council heard a request by the affected property owners to include territory at MFRDR 2023-1, northeast corner, alluvial, Sunnyside, SPR 2021-001, northeast corner, Shaw and DeWolf, and as indicated in the detailed map and identified as CFD annexation number 75 to City CFD 2004-1. Tonight's actions will finalize the annexation process by holding a public hearing and property owner election.
Okay, any comments, questions, and protests from the audience? Okay. Yes? Okay, please.
Again, my name is Susan Patterson, and I'm at 1174 Oak Avenue, which is a half a block from the northeast corner of Sunnyside and Alluvial. How will the annexation impact the use of that property?
Andy, go ahead.
So this is related to new development in the area, and it wouldn't impact existing residents or developed properties.
You say it would not?
Would not.
Okay, it doesn't change what they can do with the property, or?
No, this is a financial mechanism for that development to support public safety facilities in that area.
Okay, thank you.
What it does is it adds a tax, a fee for those new developments, the units that they will have to pay. So it won't affect you. It's not an election about your fees. Okay. No more comments? Okay, we're going to go ahead and close that portion. We may now consider and adopt the resolution annexing territory, annexation number 75 to the Community Facilities District 2004-1, which will annex territory described in the boundary map to the district and call a special property owner election, which will call for the property owner vote to approve the special tax and the appropriations limit for annexation number 75.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Resolution annexing territory. Okay, will the clerk please announce the results of the property owner vote?
Yes, for Annex number 75, we received 2 yes votes representing 4 votes total, indicating passage.
Okay. The record shows that the property owner votes are unanimous and in favor of the levy of the special taxes and the establishment of the appropriations limit. We may now proceed with the final actions for the district.
I'll make a motion that we declare the results of the special landowner election and direct the recording of the notice of the special tax lien for City of Clovis Community Facilities District number 2004-1.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Just want to, for the record, for both motions, there was 1 abstention. Okay. And I think that's it. So thank you very much, Susan.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll wait for Councilmember
drop the
Bessinger to come back.
I have to move?
This time we'll go to city manager comments.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. Just a few events I wanted to highlight. We have our mayor's breakfast this coming Thursday. Looking forward to that. And on Saturday, we get to cut the ribbon at Fire Station 2, open house from 10 to 1, but the ribbon cutting will be around 10. Come on out for that. We also have applications open. You heard about our great youth commission. Those applications are available. We also have applications available in the foyer for the Measure Y Oversight Committee and our General Plan Advisory Committee. Both of those are taking applications. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Mayor.
This time we have city council comments. Councilmember Basco.
I just want to thank Thad and Renee, because the roundabout out there at Temperance and Alluvial, construction has started, and I see them out there. In fact, not that this is funny, but one of the Sebastian guys actually almost got hit out there today. So thank you for putting those in, because I think it's going to be very helpful to the students at the medical school. So thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Bessinger.
Nothing.
Okay. Councilmember Ashbeck.
Just to underline, the sign at Letterman Park is a really good idea, and other parks, so I really wanted to thank Mr. Trevino for that idea. I've mentioned this before. I feel like we need a little Shaw Avenue commercial property code enforcement activity. The empty turf building at Shaw and looks like a haunted house of some sort. It's disgraceful. The empty lot where the Chevron was at Peach and Shaw is covered with weeds, also not great. And the Crunch Fitness on the south side of Shaw is also, the whole landscaping is weeds. So I don't fully understand the code enforcement rules for commercial versus residential, but those three are in such a short space on Shaw that I would love to see a little increased activity in that area, and you're nodding like someone's on that.
I can speak to the first one that you mentioned. We've been waiting for just one more move by a utilities company. As soon as that happens, the building will be demolished, and a new business is going to be going in there. And it'll be a good user. So
Excellent.
As for the others, we're aware of them and working on it.
Yeah, thank you. And then I have another item, but I think I'll wait and think on it a bit, and I'll bring it next time. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Pierce.
Yeah, I'll echo what Councilmember Ashbeck said and Mr. Trevino about the signage, because I've noticed that just driving around anywhere you see something, you think, I wonder who that person was, and how they received that honor. So I think that's incredibly valuable to make sure that anyone who is utilizing any of the amenities or facilities has an understanding of how something like that came about. So, and we're talking about Peg Boss Plaza and that as well. So just making sure that it's more than a sign with a name, but actually has some information with it, I think would be a great idea to preserving our heritage. I also, and Matt and Drew were there also, the fire department's badge pinning ceremony Friday evening was really spectacular, and it's the first time I had the opportunity to actually attend one. And my favorite part, I think, was seeing the families there too. And it just reminds you of the sacrifice not only of the men and women who serve in our fire department, our police department, all of the city staff and that, doing the hard work, and the families that support them. And so I just thought that was a really great way to include that in the promotions and that as well. So thank you for the invitation. I'm glad that I was able to be there for that. And I also think it just reminded me too, with how we opened tonight's council meeting with recognizing the life-saving actions of community members and off-duty members of our fire department and the engine company and all these people who come together to do that. And we also have our Measure Y Oversight Committee that is receiving applications for interested parties. And it just kind of all came together to me as I was seeing all of these different things. And just to remind people the value of what goes on in our community every single day, and that even though there are financial and economic challenges that exist, it still is absolutely essential that we make sure that our fire department, our police department have the resources that they need, not just for equipment like we heard about tonight. The Lucas machine's fantastic. We definitely want to support those kinds of things. But also making sure, because one of the things that has kept Clovis in that top tier and why we're the safest city in the valley and all of these other things is because we have maintained high standards. And we need to make sure that we're able to continue doing that. And so thank you to the community for passing Measure Y, which will enable us to do those things, but just also that recognition too. A lot of times, you know, we'll think about the fire department, and if we don't hear a fire alarm going off, we're not necessarily thinking about the things that they're doing that are saving lives and that activity too. More often than not, when our community members come in contact with our fire department, it's probably a medical call, more likely than a fire call. And so just to be appreciative and recognize all that our first responders and our law enforcement and fire department do for us, I think was just, again, kind of re-impressed on me this weekend and again to open the meeting. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you to the community. And I promise that, at least for my part, I'll do my best to be responsible to make sure that they have what they need to continue serving us. And that's all.
Just wanted to report out. I went to the Fresno Mayor's Luncheon, State of the City, and so receiving the key was where the three of us went, was the City Center, the Rescue Mission, Matt Dildine and his organization. So that was kind of neat that we were just with him and he gets that. I want to thank PD and Fire and for our support for Carry the Load. That walk, it's like 2.1 or 2.2 miles, and how PD was working so closely with just the crossings and all that. And Chief was there. I think you walked the whole way in your uniform. Huh? So pretty good to see our Memorial District bring these items to our city. And then Drew and I went to the Salute to Patriots, and so it was always neat to see the men and women who are making the sacrifice to join the military to preserve our freedoms. And then I think the general plan update, hopefully those are the workshop. Thank you for doing those. Hopefully we can get the word out continually to get more people interested. And thank you for the t-shirts that you gave us so that we can be a team player in that process. And then the last thing I have is Happy Mother's Day to the two mothers up here who serve with us, and then to all the mothers in the city of Clovis, and I think our wives as well. And so thank you to the mothers who just make our lives great. So happy Mother's Day to all Clovis folks. That's all I have. We're going to go ahead and move to closed session now. We have two items. The first is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. There's one potential case. And the second item is conference with labor negotiators. Like to open, would the public like to make any comments on either of those two? Seeing none, we'll close that. And any anticipated action?
We're not anticipating any action. We're not requesting action tonight in either item.
Okay. And thank you for coming tonight. We're going to close and move into our closed session now. Meeting is adjourned.